Comanche versus Apache, the untold saga of a brutal war that nearly erased the Apache. The clash between two formidable Native American tribes, the Comanche and Apache, is a lesser-known but crucial chapter in history. This conflict wasn't just about land or cattle, it was a fierce battle for survival and dominance, fought with sheer will and bravery, long before the age of drones and automatic weapons. In this brutal struggle, the Apache, once dominant in the southern Great Plains, by the late 1500s found themselves at war with the rising power of the Comanche. It was a time when war meant survival, and those who emerged victorious ruled the land. By the mid-1600s, the Apache had established strongholds in the southern Great Plains, using the land for farming and buffalo hunting. Meanwhile, the Comanche, seen as outcasts, were driven into harsh terrain by other clans. Despite their harsh environment, the Comanche society was marked by violence and vengeance. However, it was their discovery of a new weapon, the horse, that would dramatically alter their future. While horses had long been used by the Spanish colonizers, it was the Comanche who turned them into instruments of war, becoming master horsemen and eventually one of the most dominant tribes in American history. The Spanish, having had success in Mexico throughout the 1500s, were intent on expanding their reach. By the early 1600s, they began moving into what is now New Mexico, bringing with them firearms, metal armor, and horses. Their violent conquests had already decimated native populations in Central and South America, and now the Apache were next in their sights. But the Apache were not passive victims. They retaliated by attacking Spanish settlements and stealing their horses, quickly learning to ride them and turning the tables on their European adversaries. By the 1650s, the Apache were leading horseback raids with devastating speed and efficiency, often disappearing into the wilderness with hundreds of stolen horses and supplies. The situation reached a boiling point in 1680, when the Pueblo people, fed up with Spanish oppression, joined forces with the Apache in a massive revolt. The Spanish were driven out of New Mexico, leaving behind not just land, but over 1,000 horses, many of which were claimed by the Apache. This breed of horse, later known as the Mustang, would become a key element of the Great Plains ecosystem, but by the early 1700s, the tides began to shift. Suddenly, the Apache stopped raiding Spanish settlements. Instead, they were fleeing, abandoning their villages and fields. The Spanish were puzzled, unaware that a new enemy had arrived from the north. The Comanche, whose name means those who are always against me, had mastered the art of horse warfare in ways that other tribes, including the Apache, could not. The Comanche didn't just raid for horses, they bred them. This ability to cultivate their own herds gave them a strategic advantage over other tribes that relied solely on raids to acquire horses. On horseback, the Comanche were nearly unstoppable. They fought with unparalleled precision, using the horse itself as both a weapon and a shield, by leaning sideways on their horses to dodge enemy fire and shooting arrows with deadly accuracy. They redefined warfare on the plains. In contrast, the Apache's methods became outdated and predictable, leading to their gradual downfall in battles that raged from 1706 to around 18. The final blow came in 1749, when the Apache, desperate for survival, sought peace with the Spanish. But this peace was short-lived. In an attempt to establish a mission in what was believed to be Apache territory, the Spanish inadvertently built it on Comanche land. On March 16, 1758, the Comanche, along with several allied tribes, launched a devastating attack, wiping out the Spanish mission within 2 days. The Apache, who had once terrorized the Spanish, now found themselves on the defensive, fearing the growing power of the Comanche. By the 1790s, the Comanche had solidified their dominance. A decisive battle in January 1790 saw Spanish General Juan de Ugoldi, alongside Comanche warriors, decimate hundreds of Apache fighters near San Antonio. After this crushing defeat, the Apache retreated into the mountains, leaving behind what little territory they still held. With the Apache all but eradicated from the plains, the Comanche once again stood at the pinnacle of power, feared by both natives and colonizers alike. This war between the Comanche and Apache was a tale of survival, adaptation, and the rise of a new power on the plains. It reshaped the landscape of Native American history, leaving behind lessons about the importance of strategy, adaptability, and sheer will to dominate. In a world where strength determines survival, the Comanche proved that mastering the horse was key to ruling the land. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history and want more content like this, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.